Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Braintree. If you're a developer or manager of a mobile app and searching for the right payments API, check out the new One Touch product by Braintree, the fastest, easiest, most secure way to pay in-app. To learn more and for your first $50,000 in transactions fees free, go to braintreepayments.com/twit. And by lynda.com. Lynda.com is an easy and affordable way to help you learn. Instantly stream thousands of courses created by experts on business, software, web development, graphic design, and more. For a free trial, visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid. That's lynda.com/allaboutandroid. And by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace which connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit prosper.com/twit and receive a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 180, recorded on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2014. And we are your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
I'm Gina Trapani.
Assembled, unite. It's a three-person show today. It's all three of us.
Kicking it old school.
It's like cozy.
Yeah.
It's all cozy in here.
Yeah, it is. It's good to be back.
So close up. The shot is so close up.
I know.
There's no. I have nobody here to awkwardly look at. So yeah, I can just stay like this the entire show and be all right. So.
It is kind of awkward, right? Like to do I'm looking at you now, but really I'm looking at a TV.
It's
Look at the giant floating head on the screen now.
It's this weird whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? Like body language thing where I'm going to turn and look at you, but a lot of times when Gina's talking or when a guest is talking, I'm looking at the monitor behind
that we have in front of us.
Yeah. So I realize that on the wide shot sometimes it looks like I'm looking away,
like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking over there. I'm looking in the distance. It's a beautiful sunset up there, don't you think?
But we could be listening to Gina.
You don't look me in the eyes anymore. You don't look me. You never did.
Wait a minute.
Now
we're following the TV. Brian's moving the TV dynamically over there. This is weird. It's still moving. I actually don't even know where Brian's taking the TV at this point. But now we're looking over there.
It's all right.
The sunset has moved from over there to over there.
Yeah. What we just need to do is we need to surround the table with monitors and have them all be Gina so that we're always, it's like Gina's watching.
It'd be a Gina confrontation.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Well,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was good times. Thank you for moving the sunset for us.
Can you tell
Brian?
I'm well rested, by the way?
A little bit. You got a nice...
Yeah, I was super.
Going on
I was super under the weather last week, and then slammed to work, and so then this weekend I just slept, got a haircut, got my life sober 4 days.
Oh, good.
We're all good. It's a new start. I feel like I can take on the world.
4 days. Wow. We can sober Ron tonight. I don't know how I feel about this.
I know.
No,
it definitely smells different in the studio. So this is.
Well, the drive. It's a long drive. I need to do something to keep to say it. No, I do not. Never drink and drive. I do not condone that. Okay.
Just for that one person.
Yep.
We promised to dig ourselves out of the weeds and get to actual Android
It's not
content.
even 2 minutes into the show. I'm sorry.
It's okay. This is what happens when we don't have a guest on.
Yes, exactly. Nobody would be introducing.
To reel us in.
No one.
So let's get to it. This week we're going to be discussing a lot of stuff, some changes to the for independent developers that you might want to know about. Encryption is stepping up in Android, and I love that news. Amazon's new Kindle lineup. Any Android app on Chrome. We talked a little bit last week about some Android apps on Chrome, and there's a way to get all of them on Chrome if you like, and much more. But let's waste no more time and get right to the news.
Nope.
I meant news. This just in from the Android front lines. News.
Good.
What a save.
Tries to save it with the newscaster voice.
So close.
Get this in there. Good job.
Oh, I missed Bryan.
We're all off to a good start.
Good to see you, Bryan. Good to have you back.
Thanks, Ron. Haircut's looking good.
Thanks.
All right, Gina, save us. What do we got?
This is a good story. I'm glad you gave it to me, Jason. A new policy for developers is about to roll out by Google, requiring developers to add a physical address to their public profile, mandatory for those who feature any paid apps of any sort. This is in the Play Store, and PO boxes are not allowed. This has to be a physical address. This mailing address will be visible to all Google Play Store users. If the developers don't do this, their app can be pulled from the Play Store. Google says the change is the result of consumer protection laws and current best practices and will take effect September 30th. That's a week from now. And it should be noted these consumer protection laws in question here, that's likely referring to the EU Consumer Right Directive, which says if you sell goods on the internet, then you need to provide contact details, including a mailing address. So some folks, this got a lot of people pretty upset. There was a subreddit post saying, that this is just going to kill indie developers. It's going to force indie developers to publish their home mailing address in the Play Store. And, how could they? And this is awful. But that's actually not true. And I can speak to that myself because, I'm an indie developer. I sell an app in the store. I've been freelance and run my own business for a long time. And I never used my home address. I rented a private mailbox at like a local postal place. It costs a couple $100 a year. You get a mailbox. This is not a PO box, which is something that the post office does. And I get all my mail there. That's a completely legal address that you can have anything shipped to. You can even use on your driver's license, at least here in the US. So it's a little bit of a pain for indie developers because the choice is, put your home mailing address, if you don't have an office, put your home mailing address on the Play Store publicly, or, rent yourself a private mailbox, which costs more than, the cost of admission into the Play Store. But it doesn't seem like as big of a deal as folks are making it on Reddit.
Well, and not
shocking.
just...
Wait, I'm
right.
sorry.
Okay.
Is a big deal being made on Reddit of something?
That is true.
Wait a minute.
Really good point.
That's some breaking news.
Thank you.
I mean, what's interesting about this, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect someone who accepts money for something on the internet that they provide a physical mailing address. I don't think that that's unreasonable, but what are people going to do? They're going to send you a letter, telling you what they think of your app, of your $2 app.
Well,
I just don't get it.
I think a lot of it has to do with this perceived. I'm gonna say, and everyone's gonna jump on me because of this, but this sense of perceived privacy that you can go online and hide behind all these various privacy protection thing, and no one ever know actually where you are or anything or what you're doing. And to a certain degree, we are entitled to our privacy. But when you're choosing to publish an app and especially if you're charging money for that app and having in-app purchases or whatever, you're running a business. And I know personally for me, when I'm shopping online and I'm looking on a website, if it's a website that I think is kind of sketchy and I'm not sure if I should buy from there, the first thing I do is go to the About Us or Contact Us page and I look for an address. If there's a physical address, then I have a little more confidence that, okay, they actually are running a business as opposed to being a fly-by-night operation, And this kind of made me think about life before the internet. And remember, we'd get hobby magazines and computer magazines, and you'd order hardware from places and stuff like that. You mailed your money to an address, and they mailed it back to you. Now, admittedly, sometimes P.O. boxes were used, but a lot of times it was business addresses. That's not unheard of.
Not to mention the white pages. Way back when.
It was published.
By the way, kids, the white pages
was
this book that had phone numbers to your house in it. And oftentimes, more often than not, I remember as a kid, they had your address there
straight
too.
up addresses.
It was just
always. Exactly.
So
it was a directory.
I suppose privacy is a new thing, but yes, there is a heightened perception that we need to be more and more private, particularly as people become, put in front of other people online, right? I create an app, I charge for it. Someone doesn't like the reasons why I made the app, or they don't like the way that I did it, or I didn't, pay attention to their comment about how it broke their device or something like that. And suddenly someone feels like they have a way to, I don't know, inflict damage or something. I think that's part of what people are worried about is I'm not shielded anymore. Is that a valid concern?
But are you doing something that you need to be shielded from? I mean,
Well,
that said, we all know there are crazies out there, and there's
sometimes you don't need to be doing something or not.
Exactly, but the thing is, those crazy people are going to find you. I mean, like a large portion of my day job and my job for years has been customer service and customer support, and people get upset for the littlest things, and you set them off. You still have to deal with that. If you're running a business, you have to deal with the crazy people and the sane people and everything on the spectrum. You can't hide from it. You know,
right. But don't dox yourself, right? Like, don't make it, you don't have to put your home address and worry that like a crazy person upset about your app is going to show up, at your house in the middle of the night. You don't have to do that, but just get another address. Or I work at a co-working space. I have an address here. Like, and yes, it costs more money. It's another extra thing that you have to do. But I think Ron's point was right. Like, once you start selling an app or taking an app purchase to your app, you are running a business. You're accepting money from customers, and you've already given your, social security number for tax purposes and your address to Google in order to accept that money. And so there's going to be a public address. And I was looking at my Google Wallet, the merchant page, which is where I see, how many people bought my app and when Google disburses the payments to me. And there's like a public profile address, and then there's like a billing address. So you can do two different addresses if it's not the one that's you're actually billing. So in a lot of ways, this whole thing is just sort of a sham.
I will say, I understand that. I will say also on the flip side, though, and there's a lot of people that, in the chat room right now that are like, but what if a disgruntled person shows up at your door? Kosh, of all people, put out a post on Google Plus a couple of days ago. Kosh, of course, is a very, well-known and respected Android developer, talking about just that, how one of the fans of his apps was complaining about something. I can't find it on the fly here, but basically the gist of the story is it was a user of one of his apps, and 30 minutes later there was a knock on his door, and what do you know? That user had shown up because he was not happy with this or that. So it's not inconceivable to think that fear, like that couldn't happen. Right,
but you buy something from the Home Depot and you take home and it doesn't work in the way that you were told it would, or doesn't want, you go back to the Home Depot and say, I want, like it's part of running a business. This is where the virtual world meets the real world.
Right.
Now the thing is, like, I'm looking, there's mailboxinusa.com, which has a service that has a physical mailbox, and they actually, you can manage it all digitally. They'll email you when you get mail and send you a picture of what it is and all stuff like that. It's $15 a month. Like, if, admittedly that's more money, but
really
it's not,
depends on who you're asking, though, whether $15 a month works.
True,
not every developer can afford to do that, even if they're charging for their app, because their app might not really get paid for. But they still want the freedom to be able to create an app and charge for it.
Well, yeah, but it's like, I mean, it goes. I go back to thinking when back in college, I published a magazine out of my dorm room, and the first issue I went at, admittedly, I went to the post office to get a PO box, but I'm like, I need a business address, and let me get a PO box. I'm going to pay the $180 a year for this PO box, even though I'm starting at zero. I'm not making any money because I can't use my dorm address, my dorm room address. There are decisions you need to make when you decide that you want to do this, and ultimately it comes down to consumer protection. 9 times out of 10, no one's going to come to your house. Yes, there might be that one wackadoo, and you got to deal with it when it happens, but
or not, or just stay safely inside. Turn off your lights. Lock your doors.
Don't use your home address.
There we go.
Get yourself a private mailbox.
Yeah, that's probably the overarching point.
PO box doesn't work. Get a private mailbox.
Yep.
Because and it stinks. It's going to cut into your revenues. Yes, like it is. But
cost
just
of
like
doing business.
I mean, you have to pay to join the developer program to submit apps at all. Like, I mean, this is part of the cost of doing business. Something you have to consider when you set your app's price and when you sell stuff online. I feel bad. I feel like it sounds like we're not defending indie developers, but I actually think that this is a reasonable thing for consumers to expect. It's not that difficult to get a physical address that isn't your home address, so you're not putting yourself or your family at risk of a weirdo showing up with a brick phone or something. But it's really not that. It's really not that difficult to have a private mailbox, and it actually comes in handy. You're a lot less concerned about handing out your address when it's not your home.
Yeah.
That's what I've done for the past 8 years. It's also really great when you move and you're sort of homeless and everything can get forwarded. That worked for me when I moved from California. Anyway, private mailbox.
Yep.
Good solution.
So as part of those changes that Google's rolling out on September 30th, we're also going to see some more consumer protection. I think this might be something, Jason, that you and your daughter might want to pay attention to. But now when starting September 30th, users will be able to see a price range of in-app purchases offered by an app before they install. On the Google Play Store page, it will show a approximate range of what potentially could be charged with the in-app purchases. So it takes away some of the mystery as to what the in-app purchases might be offered. The announcement from Google basically says price ranges for in-app purchases beginning September 30th, 2014. All apps offering in-app purchases to users will have in-app purchases price range displayed on their detail page. Price ranges will include in-app products and subscriptions. If any of your apps offer in-paid app features or subscriptions, go to your app's in-app products page to review the prices and publishing status of your in-app items. So this is again addressing a lot of the concerns over people installing apps and their kids installing it, not know, the app was free, but then I racked up $500 in app purchases, So at least there's a little more transparency, a little more awareness of what you're getting into before you download the app, which I think is a good idea.
Instead of listing it as free.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that, although I'm going to be really curious to see, because there are a lot of apps that are like, $1.99 to get the pro version, or you could spend $100 to get a bag full of coins for in-app, So it's going to be like $1.99 to $100, and that's just going to make it seem even more ridiculous to spend that much money on a game.
I wonder if that will then negatively affect.
I wonder. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I would guess so.
Yeah, but I think this is a good move.
When we pick apps for the arena, there are times when it says in-app purchase, but and I use it and I test it and I don't necessarily run into the prices, and I don't feel like I can say on the air. So this is helpful just to us as app reviewers. The next step, I want to know, what is the average amount of money users spend in an app purchase? You know what I mean? About how much should I expect to spend, right? Because this is just going to be the range of how little you could spend, right? Or how little to how much. I want to know how much does real world usage really cost?
And would that change over time, over usage of the game?
Yeah. Are they are they calculating average purchases? I mean, is that
I don't think so. My guess is it's going to be a range.
It's going to be a range, right? You could spend, but I wonder what the upper.
Because an average
for a game like the Kim Kardashian game, where you can spend a few bucks or $500.
That's what
I want to know what are people actually spending on this game, especially for things that you could just keep buying whatever you need.
Right. Yeah.
Or the games that we talked about that are basically unplayable unless you buy something. Yeah. But this is a good step in the right direction, and I'm pretty happy to see it.
Yeah, agreed.
Likewise.
And then I'm really happy to hear this. So I'm finally getting myself into the habit. I test a lot of devices and all that, and I for the longest time have said you need to keep your phone secure. It's good to use a secure password, some sort of a PIN or whatever. But did I ever really practice what I preach? No, because it's always inconvenient.
Jason.
Coming up. What? Do you have a PIN code on yours?
I do.
Oh, jerk.
Yeah.
Why do you have to prove me wrong? Anyways, Google revealed some new security insight for version L. That's pretty cool. Full disk encryption on by default. We've had disk encryption in Android for a few years now, but of course it was off by default. And now kind of following in the not really following in the footsteps of Apple, but definitely timed about the same, probably reacting to the same, to similar kind of pressures that are happening right now as far as the government having easy access to the contents on your phone and everything. Google and Apple kind of want to absolve themselves from that situation. So if they allow you by default to have that encryption activated on your device, and the fact that they don't have the keys to unlock it, then it protects the user. It protects them from having to open it up, having to reveal some sort of encryption key into a user's device, and removes them from the picture. So sounds like Android version L, we're going to have encryption on by default, which I think is a great thing. I think and phones nowadays are fast enough and powerful enough for that full disk encryption to not really give you a performance hit, I would guess. Anytime that I've done it on my devices, it doesn't really seem to slow things down that I can even notice. So very good there.
Unrelated pet peeve of mine. This Washington Post headline says newest Androids will join iPhones, and I want to take a quick poll. How do you guys feel about calling Android devices Androids? It always, and it's could be because I ran a tech website for so many years, and we had I was pretty much a stickler for a copy guide. It drives me crazy.
No, it drives me nuts too.
Agreed.
Okay. All right,
Yep.
good. All right, cool. We're all in agreement. This
Android
is why I co-hosted you guys.
devices.
Devices,
I don't know.
Android devices.
Android
yeah,
devices,
it's extra
yeah.
words.
I
Extra
understand their
words.
desire to do that because iPhones is pretty
Right.
iPhones,
is pretty
yeah.
standard.
Yep.
So they want to do that with Android and
But that is the device,
yeah, it just
right?
doesn't
It's
work.
like the same as saying iOSs. The latest iOSs.
Yeah,
are
it's
doing
true.
Androids.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
So,
the
okay.
operating system. It's not the hardware. The iPhone is the hardware. Yeah. So,
Galaxy S5s.
yeah.
That would work.
Right.
Androids.
Right.
Android phones.
But then Android is a much wider ecosystem of devices. So
Hey,
how
at
do you
least they-
encapsulate all of those?
At least they've moved on from calling them droids.
That's true.
Jeez, that was
really
like-
good
I mean,
point.
That's true. That is true.
Talk about effective marketing, but also
No
like
kidding.
like one step forward, two steps back. Oh man.
Silver
So
lining.
true. So true.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, you got the awesome email, Gina.
I did.
Although it's a
I
little
did.
long, my apologies. I tried to trim it down, and I definitely did trim it down a little bit, but
Yeah, no, this is a great email.
that's good
Okay.
information.
Hi, AAA team. I was listening to the most recent show, and I would like to clear some things up about Apple Pay. This is good. I used to work doing development of contactless payment terminals for one of the largest manufacturers of credit card processing terminals, so I know what I'm talking about. All right, cool. Someone who knows what he's talking about. With that as preface, the first thing I'd like to point out is that Apple Pay is just a standard contactless credit card transaction. While it is possible to configure a terminal to only accept cards from certain issuers, most large merchants will not want to limit acceptance of credit cards only to specific issuers because it's not in their interest. Makes sense. In addition, you can't configure the terminal such that it will accept everything except Google Wallet, for example, or SoftBank. I would imagine that the vending machines that you guys talked about during the show were doing one of the following. They were either doing one, running specific custom software that checked for SoftBank authentication before allowing a credit card transaction to go through, or two, they were limiting acceptance to just cards issued by SoftBank. This is much easier and cheaper to do. I can't see any of the retailers noted as supporting Apple Pay, many of whom already accept contactless payment, making major changes to their point-of-sale software to limit the acceptance to just people paying with an iPhone, nor can I see them risking disenfranchising already existing customers who are used to paying with contactless, be it Google Wallet or a plastic card. Yours truly, this is at the bottom of my screen. Which is
Dan
Chernikov.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you very much. You're totally the expert that we needed to have this discussion. And I'm really glad you kind of confirmed what I suspected, which is that, like, it's not good for merchants. It's not good for consumers. Apple Pay is using a standard for contactless payments. So it looks good, at least according to Dan, that that merchants won't be excluding Google Wallet customers if they take Apple Pay.
Yeah.
So that's great news.
Yeah, this explanation was great, and I missed the discussion last week. But the experience I have with credit card processing and all that sort of stuff is that it is a wildly complex, crazy world of behind-the-scenes things and merchant accounts and all this sort of stuff. And he nailed a lot of it. But I think the most important thing, which I don't know if you guys touched on last week, is that no one is using contactless pay.
Yeah,
Well, you are.
Oh, I was
Wallet
until
guy.
the 7-Eleven pulled out the terminals and now don't support it.
Oh, they pulled
So,
out the.
yeah,
well, those terminals are going back in, by the way.
We'll see.
They will.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now that Apple's on board, those
Yeah, I'm
terminals
sure.
are going to
Yeah,
go back in.
I'll be curious, but I'm curious. Like, it's funny because like there's a place in San Francisco that I get in my neighborhood called Rosamund that sells sausages. They're fantastic. There's a place in Brooklyn actually, Gina. You should go. Rosamund Sausage, but they are notoriously cash only until like a couple of months ago they started accepting PayPal. I was just, and it's like kind of like a punk rock place, and like it's next to Tornado, the beer place. And I was like, how many people are you paying with PayPal? Like it's like PayPal contactless payments, and like I kind of want to do it just to try it to see what happens. But it was very odd that they got them to convert. But no, as someone who was using
Gotta start
NFC on my
somewhere.
phone and now I'm not
Yeah.
because the one place I was doing it doesn't really support it.
Right.
Apple Pay is interesting, but I don't know whether it still will take off. I don't know if it's one of those things where it's too early for that yet.
I have a gut that it's going to take off, and I think
so?
I
yeah.
think with Apple on board, Apple plus Google, I think this is going to be it. I think Apple's going to be the tipping point. I don't know.
I'll be
I
curious.
don't know. This sausage place looks amazing. I'm really sad.
Right? It really is. I don't want to give it free advertising, but honestly, if you're in San Francisco or Brooklyn, I strongly recommend Rosamund.
I'm also sort of really sad that you're buying your Snapple with like dirty bills.
No,
now.
I'm not carrying cash. Oh,
Whoa.
let's go.
Oh, you're actually. So you're actually swiping.
I'm
your
swiping
card
my
is
debit card. Yeah,
the thing. Oh.
they
How
put
do you
in they
do-
put
I
in
don't
all
understand
new
this
they put in
technology.
all new things, and the tappy thing doesn't work anymore. So I got to swipe the credit card, the debit card.
It's like taking a step backwards.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
Don't worry.
It's
Coming soon.
primitive.
Coming soon. All right, let's take a break and thank our first sponsor of today's episode. And we're super happy to welcome to the show for the first time Braintree. That is code for easy online payments. Speaking of, if you're a mobile app developer, why don't you check out Braintree? Braintree is the payments API used by companies like Uber, Airbnb, Hotel Tonight, Living Social, and GitHub. Braintree has made the payment experiences in these apps seamless, magical. So now you can actually add a similar experience to your own app. Braintree scaled with these companies from early stage startups to the successful companies that they are today that we talk about all the time. So Braintree can scale with your business too, from processing your first dollar to your billionth. Let's hope you make $1 billion. Braintree is helping solve for a huge problem in online commerce right now, a 70% cart abandonment rate. It's even higher in mobile. Now there's a solution. That's Braintree. This gives you a full stack payment solution, support for all payment types your customers might want. That's credit, debit, PayPal, Venmo, Bitcoin, Apple Pay, plus 130 currencies across all platforms. Of course, fraud protection and customer service, one-touch payments for your mobile app. PayPal's Braintree One Touch Elegant Code actually gives you a simple mobile solution for you and your customer, one-touch checkouts. Your customers can check out with one, yes, that's one touch. If you have the PayPal app installed on their phone, gone are the days of entering data fields and sharing credit card information. One and done. That's securely, easily, and quickly. And simple, secure payments. So you can code that integration in minutes. And developers, you're covered here as well. Don't worry about taking days to integrate your payments with Braintree. It's done in minutes. And if you don't have the time, you can always give them a call and they'll handle that integration for you. They'll actually walk you through it. Braintree Code supports Android, iOS, and JavaScript clients, SDKs in 7 languages, .NET, Node.js, Java, Perl, PHP, Python, Ruby, all types. 10 lines of in-app code, and it's elegant code, clear documentation. They really make it easy for you here. $50,000 in transactions fee-free. That's a big number right there. It's like free money in your pocket, and this is best-in-class customer support. And speaking of customer support, if you have a question or problem with Braintree, you're always going to get a live person to talk to. That's so aggravating when you try and get customer support and you end up talking to a robot. No phone bots, no generated email replies, real interactions with real human beings, and it's the most secure way to pay. Braintree's known for their back-end security and merchant protection. You never worry about fraud if you ever get hacked. Braintree has you covered. They actually use tokens to secure payment information so users' credit card info isn't passed on to merchant server. And it's the fastest, easiest, most secure way to pay, period. So if you're an app developer or manager, check out Braintree today at braintreepayments.com/twit. You can review their documentation there. It's simple, super concise. You can play around in their sandbox and give Braintree a try with no commitment and test your integration before going to production. And once you decide to implement One Touch, your first $50,000 in transactions are fee-free. That's braintreepayments.com/twit. And if you used Airbnb, Uber, Hotel Tonight, Living Social, Fab, GitHub, let us know what you think about Braintree. Tweet at Braintree on Twitter. And we thank Braintree for their support of All About Android and the Twit Network. Thank you for coming on board, you guys. All right, let's get into hardware.
So serene. I love that bumper. That bumper is great.
Are you ready for this, Ron?
You need serenity when talking about Amazon's new Kindle lineup. Serenity now. No, actually, it's quite impressive.
They came out with a whiz-bang collection.
It's a lot of stuff, so buckle up. So Amazon announced a new line of Kindle hardware. First up, we've got here, you can see here, they're really trying to break out into the cheap hardware division, not in terms of cheap quality, but in terms of price. They announced the Kindle Fire HD 6 at just $99. and the Kindle Fire HD7 at just $139.
Wow.
And you'll see that not only do they've got the snazzy little colored case like those colored iPhones that people like the blue and the
Doing
pinks and the
that now.
yellows, they're doing that. But they both got a MediaTek 1.5 gigahertz quad-core processor, bold color options. Look at the bold
Look
color
at the boldness,
options
just
those are so bold.
boldening out.
They've got front and rear facing cameras, and they are shipping next month. If you need something a little bigger, though, they updated the Kindle Fire HDX 8.9 inch. Now it's 2,560 by 1,600 339 PPI display.
Nice display.
It's got 2.5 gigahertz Snapdragon 805 quad-core processor, and that could be yours for just starting at $379 with 16 gig.
It's a pretty darn good price for
pretty darn good price. But it doesn't stop there. It gets even more interesting. What is that chunky little thing? What is that? Oh, look at that.
What is that cute little guy?
That's the Kindle Fire HD Kids Edition. The 6-inch is $149, and the 7-inch is $189. And they announced a no questions asked 2-year worry-free guarantee, where if anything happens to the device for 2 years, you return it and they'll replace it, no questions asked.
That is just
That's
awesome.
Crazy. So it's got that rubberized kind of case, so it can be a little rough. You get 1 year of Amazon Free Time Unlimited, which is their books, movies, TV show, games, all-you-can-eat kind of subscription service. You can set screen time limits on app usage, and times within the tablet can even be used, so you can make sure your kids aren't using it too much. Jason, you're going to have to do that soon.
I might just do that. I won't end up with princess apps on my phone anymore.
Yep. And while the Kindle Fire HD 6 and 7 are shipping next month, the kids' Kindle Fire is going to be available October 21st. And then finally, as if that all wasn't enough, they vaguely announced Fire OS 4, also known as Sangria, where they alluded to some UI changes but didn't show us what those UI changes will be. So there are UI changes coming, but also family profiles, content sharing between family members, and things like that that really kind of put in the idea that more than one person is using the device. They've also got Smart Suspend for learning your usage patterns and doing things like deactivating Wi-Fi when not at home, and it got their Firefly little function, and it's also running on top of KitKat. So Amazon threw their hat into the holiday shopping ring pretty strongly.
They did.
That kids tablet.
Yeah, they
You're
did.
thinking about it now, aren't you?
Honestly, that kids edition tablet is pretty enticing. I gotta say, for $150, no questions asked, 2-year coverage, all you can eat kind of content access for a year. Of course, it'd be nice for 2 years because then it'd be like no brainer.
I wonder how many times
it already is.
I wonder how many times they don't ask questions. Like
10 times in.
Just like,
Look, my kid is really clumsy, okay? Don't make my kid feel bad by asking me to like go into detail. I don't know. Gina, how did that strike you? Like, what did you think about this whole kids tablet aspect?
Yeah, I thought to myself I would get that for my kid. Not right now. She's still a little young, but yeah, I would absolutely get that for her. You know, about tablets, I think it was Daniel Bader from Mobile Syrup a few episodes ago. We were talking about Android tablets, and we said, Daniel, what do you think? And he said, I just don't care. I don't buy tablets. I don't get it. I don't need them. And that really, like, I was like, yeah, you know, I kind of feel the same way. Like, yes, I have the Nexus 7. I like it. I sort of, when I remember to use it, I really do enjoy it. But for the most part, like, I like my computer and my phone. But I think that there are some people who just don't like computers. I have a few relatives who like just live on their tablet. Their tablet is their computer. They have very light computing needs, and the tablet does it. And you know what? Like, I get that. It's not me, but like, I get that you know, exists, and I think that the kids, I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, for older folks, my mom, you know, she's only uses the tablet, the only computer she'll use. So yeah, these are great. These are priced really aggressively, and they look really good. I'll definitely buy my kid one of these in a few years. I'm sure it'll be a lot better in a few years, but
I love the questioning of the tablet use, because I totally fall for that, because I have this romantic notion of what my computing life would be, and I've got this tablet, and I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna use apps, and I'm gonna read on it, and I'm gonna do all this stuff like that, and I travel, I won't need to bring my laptop or whatever, and I can sit on the couch and I can use it, stuff like that, and I literally only use my Nexus 7 to watch TV shows at the gym. That is now the only thing I do on it, and it is completely.
And maybe test apps for this show.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah.
Right.
Well, that too. I mean, yes, but I mean, in terms of like non-show related behavior,
Right.
you know, I bring it with me on every flight, And you want to know what I do when I get to the airport? I get to the airport, I go get something to eat, and then I board the plane because I know how to get to the airport on time and not have to sit in the terminal for hours. And then I get on the plane, I go to sleep. And then I land, I wake up, and I go where I'm going. I take my laptop out and do my stuff. I never touch the tablet on a trip anymore. You know, and I buy direct flights, so I don't have layovers.
Yeah, but it feels good to know that it's there in case you need to.
Yeah, except that when you the one time where you do, you open it up, you don't have anything installed,
or there's no battery because you rarely ever use it, so you don't charge it.
Exactly. So it's funny because I like the idea of this conceptually, but I guess Gina, you made me think about it. Am I just somebody who's trained for a keyboard and a computer, and because when I come home, I sit in my desk is by the TV, and I sit in front of it and I'm tinkering while I'm looking at the TV and doing stuff like that. I don't, so I don't know. I just find it interesting. I feel like the Amazon customer is different than us, though. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally think, the Amazon customer is someone who likes to read and is very mobile. I mean, it's a different thing. I think it's definitely a different thing. Ron, I'm impressed that you drag the tablet to the gym, because for me, having my phone and the tablet when I get on the treadmill or whatever with all the wires and all the things, no, like I'm too lazy. I would watch on the small screen. I mean, I have a 1+1, so it's not that small a screen. You know what I mean? But
you're practically at a drive-in movie theater with that screen.
A jogging movie theater.
Yeah, jogging. Yeah. No, but it's funny because I originally, way back in the day, I used to go to the gym with my iPad Gen 1, which was like a movie screen. That thing was enormous. And then when I sized down to the Nexus 7, I felt the pinch. I don't think I could watch TV on the phone. I have no problem with it. I live 3 blocks from the gym, so I carry both, and then I just put the phone in the little thing and then prop up the tablet, and then I do my elliptical and all stuff like that. But it's a rough life. But I don't know where I was going with that thought. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't really like I don't really like the phone as that kind of screen. I want something a little bigger. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then seeing some people in the chat room that are saying the tablet's the only thing I use, so the use case definitely jumps around. I mean, for me, tablet use, yes, I'd say primarily and mostly it's for my job. At TWiT. Do I sit down on a couch with it? No, like at a certain point, we just have too many devices to pick from, right? And this is the most first world problem discussion ever in the history of the world.
Yeah, it really is.
Maybe that's over exaggerating, but it's right up there.
It's up there.
You got a phone, you got a tablet, you got a laptop, you got a desktop. It's like, at what point do I draw the line and say, no, only on the couch do I use the tablet? Yeah. But then I end up using the laptop anyways because it's right there, and maybe the keyboard's more convenient. And, so it's a hard line to draw, and everybody has a different definition.
Remember how excited I got? I got the Bluetooth keyboard, and I'm like, I'm gonna write a novel, and it's gonna be great, and I don't even use it. I don't even know where that keyboard is. No, I know where it is.
Flip up the laptop, right? At that point,
Yeah.
I know. I had the same thing. I had a total fantasy. I read this blog post by this guy who just all programming on the server, and he'd SSH in with this amazing app, and then he had the Bluetooth keyboard, and I'd be like, why am I going through all this? I could just use the MacBook. It's okay.
Yes, right. I mean, I have it already, so why don't I just use it? Yeah,
fascinating. It's a fascinating mental, kind of exercise. But but good on Amazon.
I think Amazon is really smart to do the kids edition.
Yes.
I'm wondering how taxing a 2-year guarantee for replacements is going to be, because kids are pretty destructive. But I don't think that it's a bad thing. I think ultimately there's going to be a lot of parents that are going to realize $150 for a 2-year guarantee when devices seem to, that seems to be the lifespan. I mean, they last longer than that, but when I think, in my own usage of re-upping a device and getting a new one, 2 years is kind of the limit on that. And to know that it's covered for 2 years and that it's my kid's tablet, $150 seems like a no-brainer to me. So
total.
Awesome. Good stuff, Amazon. All right, now some rumor time for things that don't exist yet, but, might soon, according to the Wall Street Journal anyways. So take this with a grain of salt. They say that the Nexus 9 will be an HTC tablet. I feel like we've kind of talked about this a little bit here and there, that, there are rumors going around that the next tablet is going to be the Nexus 9, not the Nexus 10. And it'll be done by HTC, so the Wall Street Journal is on board with that. Then we have more rumors kind of surfacing at this point. I have a feeling every week we're going to get a little bit more until it happens.
I like the rumors.
But the rumors are saying October 15th to 16th or 16th, there will be some sort of an announcement, new hardware, likely, that Nexus tablet, as well as maybe probably a Nexus phone. I have to imagine that's about the time they always announce a Nexus phone. Maybe Motorola, who knows? And new software, which, I mean, that's version L. Hopefully a new name as well. Or did we ever make the wager whether they're going with dessert or whether they're sticking with letters from now on? What do you think?
We didn't officially. We discussed it.
Yeah.
Because we were saying that there were a lot of indicators. People were pointing out, or at least I was getting a lot of feedback. There was a lot of indicators pointing out that they were going towards the number, or the letter, the Roman representation of a number. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I would not. I don't know if I'm willing to wager it, but I would not be surprised if we don't see another dessert name.
If they're just like, and they very unceremoniously do it too. Like, here it is, the official release of version L.
Yep. Until that big deal with the Laffy Taffy folks come through.
Oh, it's coming.
Then you will see an entire campaign.
And then, unfortunately, we'll spend a year eating Laffy Taffy as a running joke.
Yep.
Can't wait for that. Release date for version L is said to happen, according to the rumors, November 1st. If you remember last year, that was the rumor then too, and it ended up being what day? October 31st. It ended up being Halloween. So it's probably going to be Halloween, I'm guessing. And
the candy.
If it's going to be Halloween, then it's going to be a candy name. So therefore, we've just debunked it. It's not going to be version L. It's going to be some sort of candy.
What candy?
I don't know.
Lollipop.
Yeah. It's confirmed.
Lemon drop.
No word on when the devices will be
out.
out.
Cocktail, isn't it? Is that also a candy? Lemon drop?
It is. It is also
a cocktail. Maybe they'll pivot.
Ooh.
Oh,
there you go.
Drinks.
Because then the next version will be martini.
Martini. Oh, I could so see that icon. I love it. It's like Google's going, you know what? We're taking our OS up a notch. We're no longer playing with the kids.
Yeah, exactly. We're
the big
grown up.
boys.
We're grown up. We're all grown up.
Android Martini.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
So there we go. All right, Gina, what about Oculus? What do they have to say?
Oh, Oculus.
Gina's favorite topic.
I know.
But this I got a lot of fire in my belly about this one.
Okay.
So John Carmack, who's the CTO of Oculus since last year, said just recently that developing for Android was more or less a nightmare. Carmack says, I've got a lot of negative things to say about the Android development experience. Some of them are fundamental, unquote, which is why the Samsung deal happened. He said that by targeting one device, the Note 4, Oculus could bypass the development hell of Android, quote unquote, and bring the process closer to that of developing for a console. This project was nice because of the tight partnership with Samsung. So, the Gear VR, the Gear VR only works with the Note 4. And Carmack, who's the CTO of Oculus, is saying that was great for him because developing for Android is a nightmare. This annoyed me so much. And this is the thing, like, Carmack was my favorite part of the Samsung launch. Like, he was just this total, like, nerd in a great way, like in cargo pants and like his company t-shirt, like totally like nerding out in the middle of that event. It made me really, really happy. I like this guy a lot. But I didn't like this because it's the fragmentation argument, right? It's the argument that developing for Android is so hard because there's all these different devices that you have to target. And, you know, to some extent that's true, but and this might be me being sort of a self-loathing, masochistic developer type. But, like, that's your job. Like, part of your job is to make your software work, like, is to, you know, reach as many users as possible. I mean, now, Oculus, the work they did with Oculus to get it to work, the Gear Live to get it to work the Note 4, was, like, not your typical Android development. I mean, it involved kernel drivers and context prioritized GPU threads and clock rates and all this like crazy low level stuff. So that I get. That is probably a special kind of hell that many Android developers don't experience because they're not building this, you know, totally optimized experience, low level experience for, you know, a pair of crazy looking glasses. I just don't like when these kinds of quotes get repeated through the media because it reinforces this what I think is becoming more and more of a myth that Android fragmentation makes it impossible to develop for, because that's just not the case. I don't know. What would you guys think of this?
I was just really curious to hear what you thought of it. I mean,
whoa, you got all reserved there.
I don't know. I read it and I was like, okay, well, there must be some truth to this because we keep hearing it.
Well, yeah.
But then at the same time, like you're saying, Gina, it's kind of part of the game. I mean, what was his alternative to do this for iPhone? Do we think, or for iOS? And
yeah, is that much easier, or is that?
I mean, maybe it is, but I feel like Android probably gives them direct access to the underneath layer, like you were saying, the lower level stuff more than iOS is going to. So it's just it's just part of the game, right?
Yeah, it's part of the game. And I think he's going to have a lot fewer customers because it's targeted to one device. I mean, and like good for them, they shipped, right? And they had the Samsung deal, but like, I don't know.
Right. And, I did hear from some people who were like, you guys railed pretty hard on Samsung for doing this Samsung VR thing and maybe missed the point in the fact that it's not.
It was cool.
Well, that's the thing. I thought that we thought that it was cool. It was just targeted to one device, and that's not a great way to make a successful product. Some people were saying, well, maybe it's a proof of concept. Yeah. Like if we could, but what he's saying here is not that. Yeah. He's saying, well, we targeted it this way because it made development easier. I don't know. It's very possible that we start to see this open up to more and more Samsung devices, and it's a Samsung lock-in type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be surprised about at all, because hey, it's Samsung we're talking about here. That's what they do.
Yeah,
I feel like
the fragmentation issue. I mean, Gina, you mentioned the media running with the fragmentation issue is bugging me too. Like I saw, every night, you go through your feed, and I kind of.
Android is development hell. Like that was the headline.
Android is development hell.
Words like that. Yeah. It's like. It's overstating it a little bit.
Developing a virtual reality headset, sure.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Good point.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like those are easy. To your point, I agree. Those are go-to easy inflammatory comments that the media can make that puts it in a bad position. Like and the problem is that it's not just the media and it's not just iOS. I mean, like as much as I love Ron Amadeo and his little graphic, but that really kind of threw gas on the fire of the iPhone versus the Android kind of thing. And I saw one article where it was like, don't worry, iPhone is still your phone of choice, and here's 5 reasons why. It was like a top 5 list why Android's better than why iPhone's better than Android, and like number 2 was one device you have to worry about. And it showed that color map of the fragmentation and highlighted how difficult development is on it and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, yes, that's a challenge, but I don't think that is the be all end all that defines what it is. I mean, it's just a aspect of the marketplace that we're in because Android is open versus Apple being closed, and I think it's just
it's an easy thing to quote and show graphs on and make a visual impact with.
Yeah.
And all that
I shouldn't get angry over something in a top 5 list either. So
that's true.
You got trolled by a listicle, basically.
Yeah. I should know better. I seriously. I mean, how many years I spend editing those and coming up with them. Oops.
You and me both, friends.
Yep. All right. Well, shall we do an email?
Let's talk about a little Moto 360. Thanks to this email.
So I missed when the Moto 360 went on sale, and I missed last week when you all had your Moto 360s. And for those at home who get upset about me giving Bryan a hard time, he was giving me a hard time over the email about him getting a 360 before I did. I went to Best Buy this weekend to try to pick one up, but they were sold out. And I got to look at one, so that's the first place I got to see it. And then all day today, I've been saying to Jason and Bryan, I'm like, well, how's the Moto 360? What do you think? And Jason's like, wait for the show. So finally, we were at that time.
Okay.
We got an email from Frank who writes in and says, I recently got the Moto 360 after months of hype and wanting it. Though it wasn't as great as I hoped, I was still very happy with it, particularly with voice texting and not having to check my phone every time I got a notification. But I charged it to full and noticed a red halo around the edge that looked suspiciously like a screen burn effect. Also, the watch was really hot. When I noticed this supposed screen burn on a device that cannot experience screen burn, LCDs to my knowledge don't have the issue, I was naturally upset. Calmly versus angrily, I restarted my Moto 360 and to my chagrin, the burn effect was still there. I only had the watch for a week and a half and did put it through its paces, walking in the rain, exercising with it, constant use of voice commands for texting and other apps. I reached out to Motorola for support and considering returning it to Best Buy for a full refund, with no exchange possible due to no stock available. This is my first Android Wear experience, and I have a thick enough skin not to get too disappointed in the Moto 360 on this issue. Thanks, guys. Big fan of the show. Keep on trekking. And then he writes in 45 minutes later, after he sent in that email, and says, the red halo all but vanished completely. Hoping by morning it's completely gone. Then I will not be returning it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I know, and we've been seeing kind of reports and updates and everything on Google Plus and Twitter. People that are have seen this burn-in effect. I have not seen it on mine.
Yeah,
I don't know, Gina. Any of that with you?
Nope. Nothing like that. Mm-mm.
So all I can say is I'm now a week into using the Moto 360, and my big fear was the battery more than anything, because we heard right out of the gate that the battery was going to be a big issue. And I put an update on Google Plus, I think it was yesterday, about this, kind of like where I'm at with it right now. There's not been a single day that I put it on the dock at the end of a very long day. I've had long days all week, and it's been constantly over 25% left over at that point, which I think is perfectly acceptable.
That's rough.
What? Is that rough?
Well, considering that I'm on the Gwatch,
yes,
and I picked this up off the charger Sunday morning, and have not charged it since, and I'm at 50%.
See, but I kind of don't care.
Wow.
Because I care.
Wow.
I
don't
don't
just
care.
leave, Jason, if that's
leave.
right.
See you later. No, that came out wrong. I care about you, Ron. I don't care if it gets through multiple days. Yeah. I just want it to get through a day.
Get through the day, right? Yeah.
So if
you're going to charge it, you're going to take it off and charge it no matter what.
Yeah, well, and especially because of that dock the little dock thing, right? So it gives you a clock. So it is my nighttime clock, like bedside clock, and I love that aspect.
Right.
And so it encourages me to charge it. Yes, that. It's great. So I don't know. I no less than 25% every day. Perfectly acceptable as far as I'm concerned.
So you like it? So
yes.
So are you committing to it?
I am. The other thing about that also is, like, I forget that I'm wearing it, whereas with the square face watch, personally, I still kind of
see it
and notice it. This I just kind of it feels like a useful, like it has a function, but it also just kind of feels like a style thing. You know what I mean? Like it's this watch that I wear now, and I'm cool with it. So I've been liking it.
Around the horn, Gina, yay or nay?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Look, this is the thing about having to charge it every night. I forgot to charge it one night. I don't know. I took it off for some reason, fell asleep. And like the next day you're SOL, right? Like it's dead. And like whatever, I'm becoming a crazy person about the steps, and like I walk to work, so my steps didn't get counted on my walk to work, so I was annoyed. So I would like for it to be multi-day, and now I'm like training myself that you have to put it in the dock every night. The dock is really nice. The clock looks good. But yeah, I mean, I'm still wearing it. I still really, really like it, and it could just become part of my routine, which the G Watch there for a while was like, but now, but that's not the case now with the 360. I really like it a lot.
Right. I have a comment to add about the G Watch. But Bryan, where do you weigh in on this? This is the opinion I care about.
And why is that, Ron?
Because you're Bryan.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. It doesn't really bother me. I did forget to charge it one night, and I'm used to taking my watch off when I go to bed anyway. And when I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh no, it's got like 10% life left. Threw it on the charger, and it was almost back to 100% in less than an hour.
Yeah,
they do
charge
fast.
really
they
fast.
charge really fast. Yeah.
All right, it's a small battery.
So after hearing all that, so to add, Gina, you're kind of G Watch. So 2 weekends ago, I went to Chicago for the weekend. I went to Riot Fest, that music festival. And when I got on the plane, when I went through security, I took the watch off, put it in airplane mode, put it in my bag to go through security. Did not remember I had the watch until Sunday. That was on Thursday.
Yeah.
I went 3 days completely not even remembering I owned it after wearing it for a couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, well, there's my decision on whether I need this or not. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That said, after hearing all this stuff and seeing it in person, I totally want the Moto 360 now. And I'm kicking myself for not getting it when it first went on sale. And so now I'm going to be hunting one down at Best Buys and things like that, or waiting for Google to replenish their stock because I want it.
I'm pretty happy with it. I gotta say, I'm liking it a lot.
Especially after when you see my app in the arena. Now once I saw, I was
just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you see my app in the arena.
Ooh. So there we go.
What happens?
All right, fun times.
All right.
Gwatch.
Yes. No. Very happy with it.
Although I do like the Gwatcher. I was looking more into that. I thought the Gwatcher was interesting, even though the dial. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So let's thank a sponsor.
Let's do that. Lynda.com is our second sponsor of today's episode, and we're always happy to see Lynda on the show here. It's an easy and affordable way to help you learn. You can instantly stream thousands of courses created by experts on software, web development, graphic design, and more. Lynda.com works directly with industry experts and software companies to provide timely training, often the same day, that new versions or releases hit the market, so you're always up to speed. All courses are produced at the highest quality, not like those videos you find on YouTube made by somebody with a smartphone camera just kind of rattling away. These are courses that are broken into bite-sized pieces so you can learn at your own pace and learn from start to finish, or just, find a quick answer to something that you want to find the answer to. Tools include searchable transcripts, playlists, certificates of course completion, which you can actually publish to your LinkedIn profile. It's great if you're in the professional in the field. And whether you're a beginner or advanced, lynda.com has courses for all different experience levels and types. Learn while you're on the go with the lynda.com apps for iPhone, iPad, and Android. And so one low monthly price of $25 that gives you unlimited access to over 100,000 video tutorials. Premium members with an annual plan can download courses to their iPhone, iPads, or Android devices and watch them offline. Premium plan members can also download project files and practice along with the instructor. And I mean, I've watched many videos that range, that cover the spectrum of music production all the way to video editing here for work. So we've seen a lot of lynda.com content, and it's all just super high quality and just really easy to consume. It's hard to turn it off because you're learning the whole time about something you want to be learning about, hopefully. Lynda.com has courses on building adaptive Android apps with fragments, Android Studio First Look, Android Essential Training, simple Android development tools. And for any software you rely on, Lynda.com can help you stay current with all software updates, learn the ins and outs to be more efficient and productive. We've got a special offer for you to access all of the courses free for 7 days, so you can try it out for yourself and see what you think. Visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid to try lynda.com free for 7 days. That's lynda.com/allaboutandroid. We thank Lynda for their continued support of All About Android and the Twit Network. Get to learning. All right, let's get into apps. So let's see here. You remember how Chrome OS is beginning to run certain Android apps, certain anointed Android apps natively by Google? Well, now anyone with a Chrome browser can run practically any Android app if you want to take the time to do it. That's thanks to some clever engineering by folks who obviously know what they're doing. Chrome 37, version 37 and above, is required in order to do this. And the process involves installing a new runtime, which is the Archon runtime that actually enables Android apps in Chrome. And then the user, armed with an APK of your choice, can actually spoof the signed keys of those 4 apps we've discussed last week that Google officially allows. Process is detailed. Eric Ravenscraft of Lifehacker, who we've had on the show a few times now, lists them all out for you in detail. So it's a long, multi-step process, but where there's a will, there's a way.
I didn't realize you're like spoofing the keys. Jeez.
Yeah, you're like, this APK is actually that APK. Okay, so install it, please. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do it.
You can.
Whether you want to, whether you think you should, that's up to you. But I do think, I mean, it goes to show that there isn't a whole lot that's needed in order to do this, apparently. You also have to ask yourself, why do you want to do that? What, you want to run your Android app in Chrome browser? Okay, why? I'm not saying that there is no reason, but a lot of these things have web components. Are they better or worse? I guess that's up to you to decide. So let us know how it works for you. That is that. I don't know. You're obviously gonna rush out and do this. I can tell, Gina.
I'm kind of curious from you can, because this isn't just Chrome OS. This is any desktop operating system.
Yes.
So I can do this on my Mac.
Exactly.
This is interesting. The spoofing the keys is really interesting too. I didn't realize that this is great. Lifehacker, what a great site this is. Smarties.
Do they do lists?
Listicles?
Yeah, I heard that their first editor was really should have been a BuzzFeed. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna take a look at this. This is just interesting from a kind of hacking perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would do this because I actually want to run the apps though,
Right.
in Chrome. If that's what you're asking, Jason.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Oh, I'm sure. You're
Sign me up.
gonna lock yourself
good time.
I
away.
got so much time in my hands.
Spend all
yeah.
weekend. adding Android apps to your Chrome browser. I know it. I can tell. All right.
We also have some app news about material design. We've all heard about material design and how Google promises to unify its offerings, look and feel across all platforms. Well, a piece of that puzzle is the Polymer framework. Polymer was first shown at last year's I/O and then revealed in more detail at this year's Google I/O. Polymer is a development kit that gives developers material design for the web. So it's a library that enables gives you a quick and easy way to build web applications that are capable of running like native apps. So to show off what Polymer could do, because I got to tell you, when I heard about Polymer, I still couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm a developer. I still wasn't quite sure what it bought me. So to show off what Polymer can do, Google launched an app called Topeka. This is a quiz app, and it's in the Play Store right now. Topeka shows off the result of Polymer in action. They built this app with Polymer, and by extension, it shows you what web apps running natively on Android look like. So, and inside Topeka, you'll see all the keystones of material design. So if you go to the Play Store now and search for Topeka and install it, it's just kind of pretty simple quiz app. And it's really not kind of about the app. I mean, it is sort of just about the interactions in the app, and you get the cards and the sliding and the buttons and the shadow and the big numbers, as you can see. Thank you, Bryan, for going through the screenshots there. It's basically material design, and Topeka, from what I understand, is actually a web app running natively on Android. It looks like a native Android app, in that it's got its own icon, and you don't see any of the Chrome or anything like that. And I believe that it can also even send push notifications. I believe that's true. That's what I was most interested in with Polymer. Like, can this push like a native app? I think that it can. So pretty cool. Topeka is free to download. And like I said, this is just a reference app for Polymer. So if you're interested in building a web app that can run like a native app on Android, and I believe Polymer is going to work on iOS as well, it's worth taking a look at.
Bryan, we have it up on our phones here.
I lost the product shot.
Oh, you lost it?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains it.
We're over here while you're talking, like
we're trying to highlight it. And at one point, I see Bryan kind of just lean back and
like,
I wasn't looking, but also I lost the product shot. Should I just come over there and try and fix it?
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely need it fixed for the arena, but you showed off the screen, so that's probably enough.
It's cool. I downloaded it. It's pretty neat.
Well, it's interesting to see kind of it running. It could fool you into thinking that it's a native app, and it's definitely done differently.
I'm interested. I mean, the app itself runs smoothly. It looks really good. It's all that material goodness and all that stuff that we've talked about. I'm kind of fascinated by the quiz aspect of it, because I was playing along with it. I did the music quiz.
I was really bad.
And the first question was like, who's the youngest Beatle? I'm like, okay. And it's like, how many symphonies did Beethoven write? I'm like, okay, so this is amateur hour. Right, but then
it ramps up.
Then it ramps up to like after Simeon Oliver Cox incorporated a 1940s audio oscillator. His band was renamed after a William Butler Yeats poem. That's Silver Apples. That's super obscure, like 60s.
You knew more than I did.
Yeah, but that's like super music nerd stuff. It's like, whoa. But yeah, so I got 40 points. This is pretty cool. You can't even. I mean, like it looks great, and it does all the stuff that they talked about with the moving around and all. that stuff.
all the kind of advanced animations and the floating action icon.
Yeah, the sliding, really nice. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I hit that. Boop.
So cool. So cross-platform-ish, in the sense. I mean, this was an app that was installed from Google Play, but the point being, a developer could create this and then, put them into the Play as well as the App Store, the iTunes Store. I'm so clueless when it comes to iOS.
The App Store.
Yeah, okay.
It's cool.
The iTunes App Store.
All right.
The iTunes Store. The iTunes shop. The record shop?
I'm proving I know nothing about Apple. See? I really don't.
So one last app to check out. We got an email from Rory Glynn, who wrote in very enthusiastically to say...
Yeah, I saw Rory at Google I/O this year.
Oh, excellent. Well, Rory says, I released an app.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Way to go, Rory. I've always had a soft spot for Groove Shark. And I didn't even know Groove Shark was still a thing. So there you go. You're the guy, Rory. One of my favorite parts of Groove Shark was being able to send anyone a link and know that it would play in their browser. Eventually, I got a little sick of the mess that Groove Shark's library was. and too much time around Google rubbed off on me, and I switched to Google Music All Access. It's lovely, but now when I send my friends a link, they hit a paywall. So that's where Shark Share comes in addition to being difficult to say. Shark Share. It pulls the song and artist name from the subject line of shared song. Holy wow. So that's where Shark Share comes in. It pulls the song and artist name from the subject line of shared songs and searches Groove Shark for them. I've tested it with Google Music and Spotify. So that's it.
So you can share too. You share to Shark Share.
Well, you take the song into Shark Share.
You shake your song and share it to Shark Share, and then
you might want to think of another name. No, but yeah, it's a great way to share music across. Like if from Google Play Music into Groove Shark or vice versa. Whatnot, so
because I've done that for sure. Now every is gonna alarm.
Look at Rory with the material design going on there though. Look at that. Go back to the screenshots there, Brian. You can see
you got the bright colors.
You got the bright colors, but then you got the color bars and the action things. Good job, Rory. Well done. I don't use Groove Shark, so I don't know if I'll use Shark Share, but I'll check that out.
Well, it's not a matter of using Groove Shark or not. This gives you a publicly listenable version. So and it gives you the ad, but after 5 seconds, you can skip the ad and get right to the song. So it's a way of saying, hey, found this song on another service.
I want to share it.
I want to share it. I want to Shark Share it with you. And they can get right to the Groove Shark version of it and play and preview it, the full song, instead of just like a small clip that you get through Google Play All Access.
Shark Share Sinatra.
Sure. It's a very good job.
I'm going to Shark Share a Sinatra song.
Okie dokie. Let's thank our final sponsor of today's episode, and that would be Prosper. So let's see here. If you at 72 hours, you could have $35,000 to cover your needs in just 72 hours. What would you do with that? Would you pay off your high-rate credit cards, start a business, do that home improvement project, fill out an online, easy application, provide a few details, and see a rate online almost instantly? Prosper offers low fixed rates. It's unsecured personal loans, no collateral required, and has multi-year terms available, and that'll allow you to do all the things that you might want to do, like I said, consolidating your credit cards. For me, household improvements, of course.
The house.
Yes. Oh man, tell me about it. Every time I look out that window and see that yard, I think that's a big project.
Yeah. It's going to cost money.
It's going to cost money, and I need it now.
Yep.
Well, I need the changes now. But I could have the money now, and that's what Prosper's all about. Prosper is Silicon Valley's answer to personal loans. With Prosper's innovative peer-to-peer lending process, there are no outrageous fees, no raising interest rates, and you'll never set foot in a bank. I really like that last one. Prosper has more than 2 million members and over $1 billion in funded loans, and it's peer-to-peer lending. So it's distributed funding that Prosper is facilitating, but it's coming from your peers in the same way that peer-to-peer messaging or BitTorrent even, whatever. It's all peer-to-peer. This is just applying that model to the financial world. Just go to prosper.com/twit and check your rate instantly without affecting your credit score. And for a limited time, Prosper is offering Twit viewers a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. Go to prosper.com/twit. That's a special site just for our viewers. Up to $35,000 in just 3 days and a $50 Visa prepaid card. Go to prosper.com/twit. Check it out for yourself. We thank Prosper for their continued support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right. We've made it. We've talked the talk. Let's walk the walk. We're getting into the arena right now.
Wow. It's clenching.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
You had to hang on that until it got awkward.
I'm sorry. I couldn't.
One beat longer than it needed.
I couldn't help myself. That was just such a great toss.
So I missed the show for a week, and this is what happens to the arena. This is
What?
what is our winner for last week?
That would be Gina.
Oh, I know it's Gina, but what was the app?
Kitten Taxi.
Well, there you go. That's what's become of the arena.
Yeah.
Kitten Taxi.
It was kittens driving cars with machine guns in hand-drawn aha video art, like pencil art.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It was awesome from every single angle. It was a legitimate win. Yes, I realized the kittens were pandering, but it was a pretty great app.
Well, that win gives you, Gina, 10 wins, which firmly puts you in second. Jason is behind you with 8 wins. The guests are behind Jason with 6 wins, and I'm still on top with 13 wins. And according to Wade County in the chat room, I need 7 wins to clinch. This my magic number. My magic number is 7.
We need like a fantasy league built around the arena or something.
Yep.
Maybe this is the fantasy league, apparently.
There you go.
So that means that what? I am the loser that is here.
But I was the loser because I wasn't here. So should I go first? Or?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll go
you
first.
go first.
That's fine. Okay, so this is actually a momentous week for me in the arena because this is my first Android Wear app. So there you go. Oh. And actually, I'm going to ask to use your Moto 360 for it, or at least to
oh,
at least
fine.
We'll start with my watch, and then we'll move to the Moto 360. That's going to be the aha moment.
Okay.
All right. But
Okay.
so my app is called Wear Tip Calculator, and it is actually honestly the first app for Android Wear that made me go, oh, hey, that's a watch app that I would totally use. So when you install it, you put it on your phone, and it's got this nifty little, well, it crashes.
Oh.
That's all right. Oh, wow, look at that. It was working last night. Oh. Anyway, when you put it on your phone, it basically gives you a little bit of a tutorial, tells you what it does. But essentially, it is that handy-dandy tip calculator. Now, when I go, oh, thank you. Now, when you install it, it explains that you can, there you go. It's got 4 modes where you can enter in what the bill is. You can then enter in what you want your tip to be. You can figure out the split of how much everyone at the table owes, and then exit the app. So real simple. So when you install the app, it gives you this little tutorial while it's copying it to your phone. Once you copy it to your watch, once you copy it to your watch, all you got to do is whatever your launcher of choice is, just launch the app. I've got it right there as the first one. Now, and I'm going to adjust my brightness because that's super bright. To give some background on this, I always use a calculator at dinner when I try to figure out the tip, because for the life of me, I cannot accurately figure out percentages, and that's my failing. Bryan, is that all right? Can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, cool. So when the bill comes, I pull out my phone, and I don't even have a tip calculator app. I just go to the calculator and I type in $100 times 0.2, and then there's the tip. This is great because it actually utilizes the the watch's interface to be able to interact with the watch itself. So here I can use the little dial to tell it how much the bill is. The bill was $19, and then tap it, and then where is it? There you go, down there. And then here I can adjust how much tip I want to give. So I'm going to leave a 20% tip. All right. And then Jason, you and I are here at dinner together, so I'm going to swing that around to 2 people, and it's going to tell us that we both owe $11.40, and then we're all done. And so then I can just close the app and go, thank you, take your wallet. There you go, and I'll just take a good dinner. There you go.
Don't show that.
Anyway. But so yeah, so it's just so I never have to take my phone out of my
Wait a minute, I owe how much?
11.40. Yeah, actually, if you can, that'd be great. Yeah,
there's
thanks.
11.
Yeah. I'll get you the 40 cents. I'll get you next time. Yeah, there you go. But as you can tell, this is a very circular design, and it is almost, while it works on the watch, it is killer on the Moto 360, and so that's where we're going to switch to Jason for the aha moment.
Yes, and
if he has,
hold on.
Have you installed?
Hold
the
on,
launcher?
I have to. Yes, I have.
Or you don't have a separate launcher, do you? You're just using the regular launcher. So look how cool that is on the Moto 360, right?
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. So it's totally utilizing the circular display, right? So here we're going to adjust the bill. We went to a really expensive dinner. It was $90.
Woo.
You know, luckily, and there was really good service, so we're going to leave 21%.
Whoa.
And there were 3 of us, so we each owe $36.30. How cool is that?
Very
Nice.
And then
Very nice.
that does it.
Boom.
So real simple, really effective, and I made $11 out of the deal. So how about
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna get that back.
Here you go. So Wear Tip Calculator, it is free in the Android App Store, in the Google Play Store. You do need to pay an in-app purchase of, I think, 99 cents in order to unlock the share functionality, which I thought was an interesting way. If you don't often share bills with people, then you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to pay it. But
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was a neat little way to do it. So if you're like me and you have a hard time calculating the tip and doing math quickly, and you don't want to take your phone out, it is a great way to use your watch. It works with square watches, but it looks awesome with the Moto 360. So there you go.
Boom. All right. I love it. And I have it installed, and I will keep it on there. Although, when do I go out to eat with anybody other than my family these days? I need to do that more so I can use it. So I can go, oh, hold on.
Do you make your daughter split? When you do there are 4 of us?
I should.
Listen, new one. You owe me $16.
Look, I got you a milkshake, all right? Come on. My app also, well, it isn't an Android Wear app necessarily, but I got it to solve one problem, but I realized in another way it solved a great it solved it even better, and that's with my watch. It's called Delayed Lock. It's actually developed by the same person that created another app I featured months ago, which is the pedometer app. Javelin is the developer of that. And what this is an app that, okay, right off the top, yes, if you have Tasker or one of those apps, you could probably create this on your own and kind of do it that way. But this is kind of an app version of what it does. Essentially, it allows you to set up, your administrative permission. You got to set that. You're saying, okay, I want a PIN number as my security, and you have to set all these things. So this is kind of like setup. As long as you have this all set up, it's going to work for you. But the reason I got it is because I'm starting to use, finally, PIN number on my device. Finally. To secure it. But the most annoying thing is, like, if I'm at home, connected to my wireless at home, I don't want a PIN number. I don't care. Like, my daughter, if she gets my phone and wants to install Princess apps on it, she's going to come up to me and say, what's the PIN number, Dad? And amazingly, she remembers it. So, maybe that's good for her to enter in PIN numbers or whatever, but I want to make it easy. Just swipe to unlock when I'm at home. So that's the reason why I got it. And what this allows you to do is to go into Wi-Fi here and tell it which is your Wi-Fi access network. Is it when I'm at work, it could be production, at home, whatever it happens to be. You add those in here. So when the app detects that you're connected to one of your cleared Wi-Fi access points, it deactivates your PIN number.
That's awesome.
And so it becomes a swipe to unlock. What I realized after I got the app is if I'm always wearing an Android Wear device, I'm connected via Bluetooth. It has the Bluetooth option. Maybe this number is important. I don't know if I should show this to you. But what this does, what this means is anytime I'm wearing and connected to my phone with my Android Wear watch, which means it's in close proximity because Bluetooth is a near proximity protocol, my phone will not require me to enter in my PIN number. If I am away from my Android Wear watch, for example, if I lose my phone at a restaurant and I leave without it, there will be a PIN number there because it's no longer connected to my watch. That is awesome. So that's what I have it set up as now. And I also, will add in kind of wireless places so that it will do it that way as well. But you can add in like a location. You can, zero in. There's an extra plugin that you install so that you can zero in on a map and say, if I'm close to this location, go ahead and deactivate it. Yeah, my 360 is totally responding to things I'm saying. I'm not sure how that happened. Remote lock, so you can lock the device when I send to it a specific SMS message. So it's out of my access and I want to lock it. I can send an, and some of this stuff you can do with Android Device Manager, of course. So there's just a few different ways that you can set it up. You can set it after a certain amount of time, it deactivates it or reactivates your security settings. But really, the Wi-Fi, and I think the clincher here is Bluetooth, right? If you're wearing that watch, chances are you don't need to enter in your password. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's almost like that's your key. The watch that's on your wrist is your key to get into your device. And we do also know that Google is rolling out in version L some extra functionality to do similar stuff like this so that when your phone is next to your Chromebook, it detects it and it removes some of that security layer. So admittedly, this might be something that's incredibly useful right now before L. And once L comes out, it's just kind of baked in. But, not everybody's going to get L right away. And this is one way to kind of roll your own now. So it's called Delayed Lock. There's a trial. I believe it's like a 7 or a 14-day. It's a 7-day trial for free. And make sure that you're finding the right one. There's an older deprecated version of Delayed Lock that he has, and he even has a note in the description that says, don't install this if this is your first time installing one of my apps. Install this other one. So look for the one that has the trial with the in-app purchase of $2.99 if you want to go for the full version and unlock it completely. But I'm loving it so far, and it allows me to feel protected with a PIN number, but not inconvenienced by it, if that makes sense. And that's delayed lock. So check it out. All right, Gina, what is your app? And I will try and show it off for you.
Awesome. Yes. So my app is called, I believe, it looks like they actually changed the name. My app is called Heads Up. Heads Up. When I installed it, it was Heads Up, one word. But now I'm seeing in the Play Store, it's Heads Up, Heads dash up notifications.
Oh, yeah.
This is a pretty new app. It literally just got released. So what this does, and actually it's similar to yours, Jason, in that maybe once L is released or once you get L, you won't want it. Because what it does is it basically gives you Android L's pop-up or floating notifications. The heads-up notifications, that's what they're calling it. So basically your notifications come in and they sort of float on top of what you're doing. Yeah, there you go. You've got one right there. They kind of float on top of what you're doing, and they can show up on the lock screen, and you can dismiss them by tapping on the close button like you did there, or you can swipe across. So what I really like about this heads-up notifications, not only that you kind of get a taste of L before it comes out, but there's tons of ways to customize this tier.
Wow, no kidding.
You can say, show these heads-up notifications only on my lock screen and keep the screen lit while it's there. You can turn on pocket detection, which won't show these when your phone is, in your pocket. You can do a compact mode that will show just a small part of the notification and then expand it. You can set the number of seconds that a notification shows up. You can say, only show me high priority notifications. Don't show me the sticky notifications about voicemail or the weather or the Google Now cards. Just show me the good stuff. You can customize the way the notifications look, if they're dark or light, or there you go, there's the themes. You can set the position of the pop-up. I mean, really, anything that you want to do and customize with the way that this looks, you can do. And it's really nice. I mean, now that I've got my watch, I'm sort of like, I get my notifications kind of on my wrist, but I really like this display, particularly on the lock screen. You can set lock screen privacy. So if you're afraid that someone's going to see personal information like your friends' names or phone numbers on your lock screen, you can say, don't show the body of the pop-up. You can, on an app-by-app basis, say, show these notifications and don't show these. Yeah, there's the app filter to mute certain apps. It's just really very, very customizable, and I really like the sort of the floating pop-up. It won't disturb you if you're gaming or watching a video if you set it that way. You can interact with some of the pop-ups while they're up. It's just really, really, really nice. It hasn't in the time I've been testing it, my battery, the developer specifically mentioned that he made this very battery friendly. It hasn't sucked my battery very badly at all. I haven't noticed that it's been draining my battery. Yeah, it's pretty great. You can mark messages as read in one tap across all your devices. Really nice. What else? What else does this do? I mean, it's just a great, really, really nice kind of alternative to the new, kind of get the new style of notifications before L comes out. That's awesome. Very nice. I like it at the bottom. I hadn't tried it right there at the bottom. When you install this, you have to sort of give heads up access to your notifications, so you'll get prompted to do so in your settings. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty great. It's free to download. There's in-app purchase. I haven't run into the in-app purchase quite yet, so I'm not sure how much that is, but it's certainly free to download and try. And oh yeah, so it changes the font size as you move the slider. I like that a lot.
So gives you an idea of how much larger it's going to be. You swipe it off.
Yeah, very
great.
Nice.
I love it.
Cool. Heads up notifications.
Excellent. Heads dash up notifications.
Heads dash up. Yeah, there's quite a few apps called Heads Up in the Play Store.
I'm sure.
Yeah, search for Heads Up notifications, and it's Simmons or Simon codes, SIMEN codes.
Right. Cool. Excellent. This was a fantastic arena. 3 excellent apps, and now the choice is yours. Which is the one that you will grant your valuable vote to? Is it, let's see here, Heads Up, Wear Tip Calculator, or Delayed Lock? Let's see where we're at here. Oh, hey, Delayed Lock.
Delayed Lock did really well.
Delayed Lock is pretty cool.
I installed it.
Yep, that's a cool one.
We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Pull through. You can do it, delayed lock. Whoa.
Whoa. Is that something that
we should get like an Android trophy for the end of the year or something?
I like this idea.
Whoever wins the app arena the most.
All right. And then every year we can pass it around. That's a good idea. Further committing multiple years of the show.
It's like
that's a contract.
The Stanley Cup for Android.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. And then we can fill the cup with whatever the dessert happens to be that year.
Laffy Taffy.
Lemon drops.
And you get a year's supply of whatever that candy is. I like the way you think, Bryan. Cool. So vote for your favorite, AAApoll.com/180. That's AAApoll.com/180. And let us know which is your favorite app of those three. And that's it. We made it. We made it before the top of the hour, which never happens.
I know. It was a good time. It was good just the three of us. It's been a while. It's been 9 months since we've done this. Yeah.
We need to do this more often.
Yeah.
You don't call, you don't write. Let's do this more often.
Yeah.
Okay, Cyanogen Mom, we'll do that. Cool. So Gina, ThinkUp just continually gets better and better. What's the news right now? What's going on?
Thanks. Well, we just launched a new insight, which I see that you and Ron both have in your ThinkUps.
I'm going there now.
Bio changes. Yeah, like when your friends change their description on Twitter or Facebook, or not as much Facebook because Facebook isn't big on bios, but on Twitter when your friends change their description, we'll show you the difference, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And just trying to get new and more interesting stuff out there as fast as we can.
I do like the change. Oh, wow, look, it's my ThinkUp. I do like the change in other people's bios, which I find very funny because it's like, oh, look at that. That's it. I also like.
Yeah, you can see typos and job changes.
Yeah.
You didn't think I'd catch that, did you?
That's a very interesting thing. Yeah. But I also like my latest ThinkUp, which is my friend who has many more followers than me. He retweeted me, and so it says 108 times the number of people saw my. So there you go. That put me in my place. So,
I'd be curious to know, with this insight, someone with 108 times more than you retweeted this. 24 hours later, how many of those people are now your follower?
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
Ooh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Well, considering he's got 1.3 million followers, I hope many.
Yeah, it's just kind of curious, like, does that give you a bump? Or, you know what I mean? Does that give you a bump in numbers at all?
That's interesting. So tying a change in the metric to an action. Gina, take
potentially.
Yeah. I'm taking notes.
But Gina, and that's kind of what the beauty of ThinkUp is, right? Because you're so used to putting out your updates and not thinking about the impact or the impact of other people's updates on your usage and everything, and it gets you to look at your social kind of media habits in a different way.
Absolutely.
Realize that there's kind of like this lasting effect that happens as a result of just even putting out a single status update. It's weird.
Oh wow, you guys are awesome.
I also noticed, Gina, that I am not on the homepage yet.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
We'll get you there.
I'm just saying.
We'll get you there.
I see Patrick Norton. I see my buddy Patrick is there, but I'm not. So there you go.
Well, that's a bug. That's a bug we're fixing.
Are you sure it isn't a feature? Sorry, Ron. I really do love you, man.
I know. I do. Love you.
Thanks, you guys. You guys are awesome. We have kind of a hard time explaining what ThinkUp is because everyone's like, oh, analytics. I just have Twitter analytics. So I really appreciate you guys showing off your ThinkUps and talking about it.
I love the ThinkUp.
It is awesome. And then, of course, This Week in Google, right? You got that coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I also co-host This Week in Google on Twit, and that will be that airs on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be on tomorrow with Leo and Jeff and whatever guest we can wrangle. I'm talking about Google and sometimes a little bit of Android.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Thank you, Gina. What about you, Ron?
Thank you.
So my hijinks can be found over at about.me/RonXO. It's got links to my Google Plus and my Twitter and Facebook and all that fun stuff. And by day, I'm over at Image Comics, making some of the best comic books in the world. You should go check it out, imagecomics.com. We got a lot of great stuff coming out this week. You can get it digitally on Google Play in the bookstore, as well as also Comixology and all that fun stuff. So you could do that. And then you just search Google for whatever you might want. There you go. You go to Twit.
Whoops.
But then also, so I wasn't on the show last week, so I didn't get a chance to do this. But a quick shout out. So I went to the Giants game a couple weeks ago, and I was going to get a hot dog, and I got stopped by someone shouting my name. I turned around, and it was a viewer.
Awesome.
So, and she took a picture and posted it on Instagram. So Bryan, in the chat room, I gave you a link to the, but so Kat, she stopped me to take a picture, and she told me that she and her husband watch us every week, and they love the show, and she was very, very nervous. I think she said we watch you every Thursday, and I didn't correct her, but
well, no, it's probably true.
Is it true?
She probably does watch you Thursday. It's a podcast.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, watch it whenever you want. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so, so there you go. So
Watch it.
Awesome.
So I would show the picture, but
yeah, the chat isn't working in the doc form.
oh, okay. Here,
Sometimes
here's the
that
doc.
happens.
If you paste it in a cell, I could.
There you go. Yeah, it's in the doc. There you go.
There we go.
But yeah, so it was pretty cool to see a fan in the wild. There you go. So we were
That's awesome.
in the tunnels at AT&T Park right there. So there you go. So Kat, thank you for watching.
Awesome.
Watching every Thursday.
Yeah. Hi,
Every
Kat.
Thursday. Yeah. So
Isn't that the most surreal thing? But it's really awesome.
what was so funny was that it was actually, and this is where, so I was on field level, and I was going up to the club level because the lines there are much shorter, and so, but you need the thing.
Right.
So as I was going, the person was checking my ticket. She stopped me, and then we chatted, took a picture, and she's like, "I watch you on TV all the time," and all stuff like that, like totally like stuff. And so the usher who was checking the ticket, it's like, "You on TV?" And I was like, kind of. I'm like, it's the internet, like it's like that moment where you have to, and I'm like,
You have to go ahead and knock yourself down a few rungs.
Exactly.
So you're on TV? Well.
And I'm like,
It's the web, it's a thing the kids watch. Not adults.
I just want to get some garlic fries, man. Like that's all it was. But yes, it was great. It was great to meet her. So it was pretty cool.
Fantastic. That's great. And Bryan, what about you, sir?
Today,
What you got?
I'm in the lights right now.
This is what you look
Whoa.
like. After all these years, I had no idea.
Yeah, you can catch me on Thursdays on Know How with Padre. We're always coming up with a different project every week that you can follow along with. Although I just saw on Google Plus, Leo found out about our little station we have underground. This is like where we've been working on all our projects. I think that's Oh no, they found out. So we ran out of
you
space.
Got the full finger wag.
Yeah, I think we might be in a little trouble for that. But that's where we get our projects done.
Look, it's research.
Yeah.
Research. Wait a minute, you've got like a full arcade down there, it looks like. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
That's
shouldn't
for
have
research,
said
too.
that out loud.
In the bunker.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's also for research.
It's good to know.
But yeah, you can follow me also on Twitter at cranky_hippo. But what about you, Jay?
Awesome. You can always find me at about.me/Jason Howell. Follow my music at yellowgoldmusic.com, of which there has not been much new, but that's okay because whatever, it's up there anyways. And you can help me edit this year's best of. Yes, it's that time to start thinking about that. I kind of can't believe it's almost, it's going to be a couple of months and suddenly it's going to be the holidays. So we have a best of episode.
Wow.
I go through every single episode of All About Android and pull out the best moments that I find. Pretty much I scroll until I see a bunch of us laughing at the same time, and then I see if it's good and then put it into the show. But you can help me. If there's a particular moment that you remember, it helps also if you have the episode number. It helps even more if you have the time code. I doubt you'll have the time code, but I really hope that you do.
It'd be really great if you did.
Let's just say that helps a lot. Twit.tv/bestof is where you can go for this show as well as all Twit shows and help us on the best of that we are all getting ready for, psyching ourselves out for, because it is no easy feat putting those best of episodes together. So we need your help. Twit.tv/bestof, and we thank you for that. But that is it for this week. Hope you'll join us next week for another episode of All About Android. Jerry Hildenbrand is finally going to be on the episode of Android Central. He'll be joining us. You can leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. You can send us an email or video mail to AAA@twit.tv. We're on Twitter @AndroidShow. We have a subreddit, twitaaa.reddit.com. Helps inform the content on the show. Show notes and past episodes can always be found at twit.tv/AAA, as well as iTunes and YouTube. And you can catch us live every Tuesday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android. I ran out of breath there. No, I ran out of breath. It's hard to do.
It's going to be okay.
It's really hard.